In 1951, one essay detonated beneath an entire philosophical movement. A movement that believed it finally had solved philosophy, shut down metaphysics, and crowned science as the sole path to truth. But then came W.V.O. Quine in his quiet little paper, Two Dogmas of Empiricism. And that paper almost single-handedly ended logical positivism. Before Quine, philosophy was dominated by logical positivism, a movement that wanted to clean up philosophy and make it as rigorous as physics. To do that, they relied on two core assumptions, their two dogmas. The first dogma was the analytical synthetic distinction. Some statements are true by meaning alone, like all bachelors are unmarried. Others are true by how the world is, like the cat is on a mat. Clean, sharp, and scientific. The second dogma was reductionism. Every meaningful statement, they said, could ultimately be reduced down to raw sense experience, little bits of sensory data. Meaning was like a ladder, statements to simpler statements, to observational statements, to pure experience. If a claim couldn't be translated into sensory terms, it was meaningless. Logical positivists thought they had boxed the world neatly, but Quine noticed the box had holes. Quine began by asking a simple question. What exactly makes a statement analytic? If you say it's true by meaning, Quine asks, okay, and what is meaning? If you say it follows from definitions, Quine replies, who defines the definitions? Every attempt to define analytic ends up being circular. You replace one vague term with another equally vague one. Quine's conclusion? The analytical synthetic distinction isn't a sharp line, it's a philosophical illusion. No secure foundation, no bright boundary between truths of meaning and truths of facts. For logical positivism, this was the first crack in the wall. Then came the knockout blow. Reductionism claimed you could take any meaningful statement and reduce it step by step to pure sense data. But Quine said, that's not how language works, that's not how science works, that's not how we work. We don't test statements individually. We test them as a part of a giant interconnected web of belief. If one observation contradicts one of our beliefs, we don't know which belief is wrong. The observation, the surrounding assumptions, our background theories, or even logic. Meaning isn't atomized. Experiences don't hit us as isolated pixels. Everything supports everything else. This is holism. Our beliefs are confirmed or disconfirmed as a whole, not by piece by piece. And if that's true, reductionism collapses. Quine's essay destroyed the foundations of logical positivism. Without a valid analytical synthetic distinction, without reductionism, the entire structure fell apart. Verificationalism, the idea that a statement is meaningful only if it can be verified through sensory data, lost its teeth. Philosophy suddenly gained access to metaphysics, theory, and conceptual analysis. And Quine's influence pushed philosophy towards naturalism, the view that philosophy and science are continuous, not separated by some special a priori boundary. One paper changed the trajectory of 20th century philosophy. Two Dogmas of Empiricism wasn't just a critique, it was a demolition. Quine didn't only identify weaknesses, he showed that logical positivism had built its empire on concepts too vague, too circular, too brutal to survive. What rose from the ruins was the new vision of philosophy. Holistic, interconnected, and pragmatic. A web of belief rather than a tower of certainty. And it all started with one paper, from one quiet philosopher who saw through the illusions of an entire movement.